Hi guys, another radio controlled car. Not sure how old this one is. It is a, where are we? Got a name on it somewhere. Oh yeah, it's a Nikko. You see that there? Or Nikko. Oh, 1985 I think that is, isn't it? Haven't got my glasses on. Anyway, it's a nice heavy toy truck. It's got a manual gearbox, W for winch I think that is, N for neutral, H for high, L for low. Winch on the front, there is a winch in there. It's four-wheel drive. Nice soft rubber tyres. The only thing is they're so old they are actually falling apart. The tyres are split in one place, I think I saw. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, he's completely gone. And then the other problem is, just use a controller that is working would help, wouldn't it? Is that on? That's on. Oh. Yeah, it seems to be picking up some signal from somewhere. I don't know where. I did even think it might have been Wi-Fi it was picking up. Really don't know what's going on there. If I use a controller, whatever I do, it goes the same way, and then it does what it wants. I did find this controller, I can actually get it to go forwards and backwards, but no steering. Still goes forwards and backwards. It is raining hard outside, you can probably hear. So what we're going to do, well, I am sure I did have a controller that worked with it. So I should go through the box and try them out. Well, first one out of the box is a Nikko. And we do get forwards and backwards, but no left and right. Another old Nikko, forwards, backwards, no left and right. Right, went through all my transmitters that I've got, and none of them seem to match it properly. A lot of them, as soon as you turn them on, it starts moving, and doesn't matter which control you press, it does the same thing. It goes, I can't remember if it was backwards or forwards. I checked the old video that I did with this when I first got it, and this is the controller that I used. And well, it doesn't work properly. It does go forwards and backwards, but the steering's not working. Now that could possibly be the steering motor has wires fallen off or something like that. But I went through all the controllers. Most of them, if you did that, then it would work, but if you did the opposite, it'd still go in the same direction, and if you did right and left, it would still go forwards and backwards, no left and right. So we're going to have to take it apart and have a look. The other thing I think I've already mentioned is the tyres are actually falling apart. Yeah, that one is completely gone. So I have to take some measurements and see if there's any possibility of getting a tyre that might match. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is change the wheels, and that's not going to be easy either. Yeah, you can see that's a real mess, that one. I've had a look through my stock of wheels and tyres, and although these are not anything like the same, they're the closest I've got in my stock. So if I put them on there, it'd be, well, they'd be much narrower, but it might give us a chance of actually getting it running. The other problem is one of the wheels comes off. Yeah, that one. Stub axle comes out. Don't know what's supposed to hold it in until we take it apart. Yeah, see, I'm not doing anything there. Don't know what's going on there. Bottom line is we're going to have to take it apart and have a look. We could make it hobby grade. It would be a shame. As I say, this one's a nice old one. What did I say earlier? 1985, that says on there, doesn't it? So it's pretty old. It uses an awful lot of batteries. Uses 8 of them. That's a double layer in there, which is why it's so heavy for a little car. 8 of them. So we're going to have to take it apart anyway, have a look inside. We could make it hobby grade simply because it's easier to do that than try and find a matching transmitter. But it might be something simple, as I say, it might be like the wires falling off the steering motor, and we can fix it. So we'll be taking it apart. Before we take it apart, I'll just draw myself a little sketch of that wheel. It's quite a complicated looking deal, really. In fact, that comes in there. It's almost like bead locks they've got on there to hold the tyre in place. Yeah, I think that's what's supposed to happen there. I think that's supposed to crush in on the end there to hold the inside of the tyre. The looks of it, the bit that's important is there and there. So it's the distance between there and there is the inside of the rims. And that's actually that bit there. 18.5 if we're generous. That's 18.5. And then the different diameter outside and inside. Can we even get in there to measure that? Or is that going to stop us? And that's probably 25 on the inside bit. And then that one, can we get on there? 35. I mean, we really don't have a hope of finding any matching tyres, but I'll take the measurements anyway. And the actual overall diameter, 60. The outside width, 35, 36, take an average, 36 and a bit, yeah, probably 36 ish, probably 35 actually, looking at those dimensions. But I don't think we're going to match that. Like I say, might end up having to just bodge it by drilling these out. So at least we got some tyres to run it with. Right, we'll take it apart. I'm pretty sure I will have done a tear down on this before. It's easy. Okay, steering, red and white wire. Oh, that's the one that comes off, obviously. Ah, right, that red and white wire will be the winch. No, it won't. Or will it? Gosh, that's confusing. Right, red and white wires. Looks like it's a light. Yeah, that's an LED. So the steering motor must be buried right inside there. Oh dear. Blue wire goes to the motor, pink wire disappears underneath somewhere. I'm going to have to take it apart all the way, no shortcuts. Get a magnet to collect the screws. These are different sizes. Oh, I hate it when they use different sizes. Those ones are slightly longer than the other ones. It just holds charger in place. So obviously you can have rechargeable batteries in there and charge it from there. I think I'm going to need a box to put all the bits in. What are we doing so far? Oh, that looks like that's the cover for the drive motor and gearbox perhaps. What's that holding on to? And that's the winch. There. You can't see that because it's a bit dark. Is that going to come out? Yes, it is. Okay, so main motor through the gearing there, depending on which way you shovel the switch under here, depends on which of those gears engage, and if the right one engages, it'll engage the winch. Let's just come in close so you can see that. Right, so the winch is in there. When I say the winch, it's just going to be a pulley on that gear, and depending on which way we slide the slider under here, depends on which gears get engaged. And if the right one's engaged, it'll drive that. Okay, so that's our gearbox. Okay, these pink wires are linking up all those batteries, the battery pack on either side there. I think I want to put that back together because I don't think we want to see any more of that. Let's see if we can get that back in. Those wires go in there. Keep the tension on. That's all coming loose because it's not, the gear's not engaged, so it's just loose. We don't want that hanging out like that, so if we pull that, because at some time or other the motor's going to switch on. Oh, that's going to get tied in together. Ignore me while I'm talking to myself. Those wires up out of the way. that's winch engaged. Yeah, that is. There we go. Okay, so that's got that back in place. Let's get those screws back in. So we've looked at the gearbox. I haven't done it in great detail. We just know there's a whole pile of gears in there. And those were the longer screws just there. I don't know if I put the right one in there or not. Find out in a minute. Right, let's have a little break. Oh, I'd zoomed in, you couldn't even see what I was doing. I was just putting the screws back in. I don't think that really matters. Right, put the back end together. I was just going to take the aerial off, just so I can move the body out of the way. But it just seems to be oversensitive, doesn't it? I just have to touch the aerial. Something odd is going on here. Right, can we get to the steering? Shall we have a quick look at the receiver while we're in that general area? So if we're going to go hobby grade, Nikko 20610-6198. So that's the chip. It's not one of those RX2 chips that are so popular, and all the other ones. Probably this predates them. That's our drive motor going that way. Steering motor. Oh God, they're tight. I'm sure my friend, YouTube friend, Jag Betty, said he used to demonstrate Nikko cars many years ago. Okay, Well, that's the four-wheel drive, and as I say, for some reason that's not driving at the moment. Well, it is there. So why isn't the... differential, isn't it? It was driving that one because that one was easy to drive and wasn't driving this one. And I thought I'd got something wrong back at the other end. Okay. Well, we're no further forwards to the steering, which is where I wanted to go. That's just looking at the differential. Does that go underneath there, does it? Yeah, it does. I'm trying to force it down on top of it, and it went underneath. Right, well, we'll put that together. Alright, I'll stop filming and I'll skip forward. So, how do we get into the steering? What am I missing? That piece comes off. Lifts up, there's a couple of screws there. Is that all going to lift up now or not? Oh wow. So that's our steering. It's a coil. One of those magnetic steering things. Oh, that's frustrating. If we lift that out, so we've got two magnets. No doubt one's a north and one's a south. And then we've got a coil here. And depending on which way the current flows, depending on which way those magnets will swing. Just pull that out of the way again. So that peg there goes in the middle of there. That's our magnetic coil. In there, if we just hold that out of the way, lift that off, that's the centering spring. Let's bring the steering back to the center. Magnet. So that's going on there. So that's swinging side to side. If I operate left and right, nothing's happening. Are we any further forwards? Well, at least we can see how everything goes together. I expect I could put a battery across there and just see if it actually works. I'll just try, what's this, about 3.5 volts. Try and get on the ends of the tags. Can't see it. How about if we go back here? Right, I can't touch on those tags there because they're covered in insulation. And when I have managed to do it, this is rocking around too much. I'm going to have to put the cover back on to hold it in place. I think it needs more voltage than I'm giving it. You can hear it trying to move. Let's give it twice as much voltage. What's the worst that can happen? We blow it up and we convert it to hobby grade, which is what we were going to do anyway. Okay. I just had a horrible thought. I haven't checked the voltage of those batteries that were in there, because those are the batteries that were in there originally. Could it be that it needs more power to drive the steering? I expect I could stick in a few of these. 3 of these would give us 12 volts. Well, this just gets more confusing now. I've put 3 of these in because they're about 4 volts each, so that gives us the 12 volts we would have had. But I think some of the wiring they've got going on here, maybe it doesn't use the full 12 volts for everything. It might use some for one purpose and some for the other. You'll see what I mean. No forwards. Perfect reverse. No forwards. Dummies in down there. Another dummy. Oh, there we are, there's a dummy. It's going slower. Going both ways. Yeah, I think it uses a different combination of the batteries depending on what it's doing. So I stuck them all in on one side. I think we'd have a problem. We'd have too many volts in one side. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying. I don't think it uses all the batteries at the same time. I think it uses some. All right, different combination. Still not getting steering though. It's very tempting to put another one of these in, but then we'd be pushing it up to 16 volts when it's only expecting 12. Oh, I'm hitting that with my finger, it's not turning. Right, well, what are we going to do anyway? Are we going to convert it to hobby grade? I'll have a little think about that. We've had a good rummage around inside it. We've run it off 3 lithium ion cells. Identified there's something funny going on. I've just cracked it. I've just cracked it. After all that mucking around, it's one of these ones that only goes left or right if it's going forwards or backwards. There was nothing wrong with it. Take that off, no left and right. Moving forwards. Oh, how frustrating. So all along, that transmitter does work with that, but if you want it to turn left or right, you've got to be moving forwards or backwards. Oh, rude words. And we've got to try and figure out if we can fix that light that I've broken, or at least the wire's fallen off. I think we've got enough footage for a good long video, even though we haven't done what I wanted to do. Well, I suppose we have. We figured out why it wasn't working. But we didn't need to take it apart to do that. We just needed to press the forwards and backwards at the same time as left and right. Right, it's not an LED, it's an old style filament bulb. I don't expect we got any chance of being able to solder onto the end of that, but I'll give that a try. Not just now, I can have a break. This has gone on far too long. Good morning, guys. Printed myself a wheel so I can try and put those tyres that I found in my scrap box on the whatever it was, Toyota Hilux. Notice, as usual, filament has snapped when we've finished printing. So, we'll finish off that reel soon. Spool. Go and see if this one fits. Good morning, guys. Bit of a mess on here this morning. Been working on the Toyota Hilux. Trying to fit alternative wheels on it, or tyres, because the old tyres are completely ruined. So the nearest I've got are quite a bit narrower. So I'm having to make up different wheels for the tyres to go on. That looks like a success. So I'll do 3 more of them. Right, a little bit disjointed this now, because I've been doing different bits at different times. End of previous video, I think, I showed you that one of the legs had broken off this little light that goes into that silver tray there, which redirects the lights out through the headlights. So it's a single lamp in the middle lighting the 2 separate headlights. Anyway, that wire broke off. I have tried to try and get right on the end of it with a bit of solder and failed. So I've got these. Oh, didn't mention, it's an incandescent bulb. It's not an LED. So to keep it the same, I've got some incandescent bulbs here that come off some old Christmas lights. Now they're a lower voltage. I put one on and it blew straight away as soon as I turned the power on. So I've now got a resistor in series with it. So if I lift it up and go forwards, that light should come on. Or it will if we switch it on. Right, switch it on. I think you can see that. It's probably not going to be as bright as the original, but it does at least mean we've still got a light there. It'd probably be easier just to swap it out for a couple of bright LEDs, but we're trying to stay with the original as far as possible. So that's got to go back in there. Probably need to put a bit of hot glue on there to hold it in place. I'll sort that out in a minute. Then the other thing, I did say I was going to 3D print some hubs or wheels for these tyres to go on, which are from something completely different, but they are more or less the same diameter. They're a tiny bit bigger, to be honest, but close enough. They're the closest I've got in my stock. So that's your original hub. These silver bits do come out. There's 3 little pegs in there, and you can push them out and pull that out. It is like a bead lock. It actually grips the inside of the tyre there to hold it in place, but not particularly tightly. And then that's where the other bead goes, on the inside of the tyre. I think the idea of that is it sort of wobbles in and out a little bit, and that should help hold it in place. Anyway, so I've done one, that fits. I've just printed the next one. I need to trim out the fill or support layers. I'll do that in a second, but just so you can see, that's where the bead will go. And we've already discovered these just slide out of the hubs. I don't think they're supposed to, but they do. So have I got the hole right this time? Yes. Need to trim that little bit at the bottom there, but that'll go in there. That'll sit in there, so that's okay. The back wheels are a slightly different shape. So I can't just print 4 of these, I'll have to redesign it because it needs to have a bit sticking out on the inside. So I'll think about that. At the moment what I've done is, it was one of the back tyres that was completely ruined, that one. So I put the front one on the back. So we've got 2 original backs at the moment, and then we'll have 2 of these type on the front. So I'll trim that out, put it in place, and we'll see if we can at least get it to run. Just a quick close-up. I've just trimmed the support layer out, because when you print it, it's printed that way up, you can't print over nothing. There's got to be a support layer underneath. So that one, I put a bevel on it, that gives it support, but between there and there and there and there, you had to have support in there. So that's just a thin layer of filament that you can trim out afterwards, which is what I've just done. So now let's see if we can get that one on there. I don't think there's a left and right to it, although thinking about it, got that there, and I want it to be pointing that way. Okay. To line up with the slot. Okay. Right, so we'll stick it back together for now and see if we can get a run out of it, and then I'll think about the back wheels, because those tyres, well, as we can see, are just completely gone. So I'll just have to have a look online, see if there's anything similar that I can get hold of, and then print suitable rims or wheels to go in them. Well, fitting that light bulb in place was easier than I thought. There was actually a little clip to hold it in place, so we won't need any hot glue for that. Right, what can we say? It works. It's not quite the ideal outcome, having those funny little tyres on the front, and if I'm going to put the same tyres on the back, then I'd have to print different shaped wheels, hubs, but it might be worth my while just to have a little look online, see if there's any suitable shaped tyres that are not too ridiculously expensive, and then I could print different shaped hubs anyway to match the car. It's on low gear setting at the moment. Depending on what I've edited out of the previous videos, at the moment we're running it on 3 lithium-ion batteries and a load of dummies. I might put the original batteries back in there just to see if the additional weight makes any difference to it crawling. So I'll put these back in. Right, it's got the 8 AA batteries in there now. think it's actually going a bit slower, but then those batteries are pretty old. Yeah, I think we've got slightly less power. I'll just try it on the high gear setting, so it should be a bit faster. Still can't get up there, even with a run up. I don't know if you can see how it's bumping around with those back tyres being irregular in shape. Oh, and the other thing was the winch. What can we test that on? Which way? The other way, obviously. Yeah, okay, so the winch works. Don't have too tight. Stop it. Well, that's not bad, is it? I didn't expect that. That was quite impressive. So, summary time, it's all back working. My initial panic about not being able to find a working transmitter to match it was simply because I didn't realise it had to be going forwards or backwards for the steering to work. But when I watched my original video on it, that must be the transmitter that actually came with it. And it works. So what to do next is look online and have a look for some suitable sized tyres, right diameter, and now that I'm confident that I can print the rims, the hubs, the wheels, then I can virtually choose any tyres that I like. We'll call that a day for now. There may be another episode if I decide to buy some different tyres. And we haven't hobby graded it, we've left it in its original state. Oh, one last thing. Right, final thing. Can we even see the headlights? Well, they are coming on, but these batteries are definitely run down a bit. They were brighter when I had the lithium-ion batteries in there, which I guess we could put back in there just for checking the headlights. Right, lithium-ion batteries in there. And that was on the low speed. So yeah, as I say, the other batteries were flat. It's not a true comparison between lithium-ion and the AA's, but I've actually put 4 lithium-ions in there, so it's actually at the moment running on up to 16 volts if they're fully charged. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 dummies. So I'm probably overdoing it a bit there. I'll probably burn it out. I was running it on just 3, but I put 4 in there just for demonstration purposes. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check down below in the video description. If you like this video, you might like this one up here. And if you want to subscribe, you can check out my channel over here. Up here is my latest video on my channel, and down here is a video playlist associated with the video you've just watched. Thanks again for watching.